Hey there, guys. We now have the information for Arcane Scholar Kier, the new global exclusive for August. And in this video, we're going to be taking a quick look at his kit, and, I'm going to give my first impressions, etc. So, overall, I discussed him in the news video recently, and based on the preview, he looked a little underwhelming based on the TMR, STMR, vision card, and the stuff previewed. Now we have confirmation based on the unit data that this unit is I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm gonna try to be fair, but I am definitely not impressed with this unit. So first of all, the first thing, I didn't really recognize this immediately during the news video, but lots of people were telling me like right away during the news video, this unit, Arcane Collar Kier, seems like basically a copy of a skipped unit we have, which is Porin. This is a Dragon Quest unit that JP was a collaboration in JP. It came out around the times Flaring Rain came out, like, what is that, 4 or 5 months ago at this point? I forget, I'm not sure how long exactly, but a while back. This was a collaboration, and here is the unit. And look at Porin's TMR. The TMR, identical to Kier's. The STMR, identical. The vision card, basically the same. They did increase the magic slightly, but the card itself is identical. And we're going to look at the kit in a moment. Like, the kit is basically almost the same as this unit. So the global team is now, instead of making new and interesting units, they're taking old skipped units and just copying their kit onto a new sprite from the Chinese server. And that is Arcane Scholar Kier. Except, arguably, he's actually kind of even worse because he's an SLB unit, whereas Porin was a true Brave Shift unit. So we're taking skipped units and just making them worse. But yeah, that's the unit. So his base stats and all that, his base stats are okay. It's the same as usual for a non-premium, 601 magic after pots. He does have lots of natural resistances and immunities, so that's convenient. It's nice, especially considering he's a SLB unit. There we go. His gearing, unfortunately, is pretty bad. His gearing is relatively bad. He cannot wear helms, which means you can't wear the Clash of Wills helm, which is pretty unfortunate. And then, as we're going to see in a moment, he basically has to wear either his completely useless Trust Mastery or his STMR. So which basically means you're going to be wearing the STMR, which is the chest slot. So once again, you can't use Clash of Wills gear in the chest slot either. So his gearing is unfortunate. And then as far as his kit goes, so his kit has a bunch of just nothing in it because a lot of this, like I said, a lot of this is just straight copied from Porin's kit. So this is, like I said, an old skipped collaboration unit. So you've got stuff like Cure Poison to Allies, Cure Sleep to Allies, Increase Fire and Ice Resistance. We go to Kier's kit. You've got like just goofiness like Cure Sleep to Allies, Cure Poison to Allies, 80% Fire and Ice Resist, a bunch of these useless low modifier skills that don't even chain for half of them, like Arcane Flame. It's a one-hitter with a 250 mod. What? That's a joke. We've got non-elemental spirit-ignoring attacks that cannot be imbued. Like, this is just stuff they just straight copy-pasted from this skipped unit. Like, yeah, this is, like, here we go, the non-elemental 150x modifier. Like, they didn't even buff the modifiers. They didn't even buff the modifiers when they copied this old skipped unit. And, yeah, that's kind of funny. So, and then we have other things in this kit. So here's his fields right here. So it's a 35% fire and peril field or a 35% ice and peril field with a 2000 modifier when used. Let's go to Porin and peek real quick. Oh, look at this. The exact same thing. 2000 modifier, 35 field, different fields. And you know the best part about these fields? You know the best part? They can't even be multicast. They are literally excluded from the multicast. You have to use your entire turn to cast one of these 35% fields. And they're different fields. Like, I guess this is to be expected when you take an old unit from months and months and months ago that was skipped and you don't change the mechanics or the numbers or nothing. Like, we've got Nora, who just came out, who's got a dual field, 2 elements at the same time. She can multicast it. She doesn't lose her entire turn to cast her field. But not Kier. Not Kier. You're taking your entire turn to cast an individual, single 35 Imperil. It's not even a good Imperil field. It's a 35. Like, why can't we get a 50? Like, are you kidding me here? What? But no, it's a 35 single element Imperil field that cannot be multicast. Down here, we've got his cooldown ability, which does buff the modifier to his LB, and his SLB. 180 buff, it does give him focus. That's nice. Let's pop down to the Limit Burst real quick. So here's the Limit Burst, LB, and SLB. The LB is basically just a lower modifier. SLB, there's no reason to ever really use it. The SLB is, hilariously, is the same as Porin's. Literally identical, same numbers, 35 Rod Imperil, 130 fire resist, 350 fire damage. Now, they did add a little bit of morale scaling to it. So 35, 130, 350, and then it does go up 50 higher in Clash of Wills. So with his cooldown of 180, that's a 530 modifier in Dark Visions, and then a 580 modifier in Clash of Wills. So just like hilarious across the board that they're actually doing this. He's got some other random stuff like a full heal for the party, a 150 fire amplify, and as we know from the news, he also has this ice skill that is only usable in Clash of Wills. Only in Clash of Wills. Let me do the math real quick. 3,400. That's equal to about a 485 Limit Burst in Clash of Wills. So his ice damage is significantly worse than his fire damage, because his fire damage, remember, is a 580 in Clash of Wills. This is equal to about 485. So it's like 20% weaker to go ice in Clash of Wills. And you can't even do that in Dark Visions. Literally, he's only fire in Dark Visions. And it's fire magic. You can't even imbue him. So, yeah, that's his kit. He's got no support skills. He's got, like, nothing. At the very least, look, Porin. Let's pop over to Porin. Porin, in his true Brave Shift form, had things like, okay, never mind. This is, my mistake. When I was glancing at Porin's kit, I thought this was for the party. So Porin didn't have support skills either. So I kind of thought Porin had Mirage for the party. That is not the case. Neither one of them do. So yeah, no support skills for the party. He's just going to deal some damage and waste his entire turn to cast a single element low Imperil field. Let's pop to some damage calculations, and we're going to go to the Dark Vision. Now this is again early calculations, and to be completely fair and upfront, my spreadsheet uses Machine and Insect as the race combo. That's because we just had a Insect boss, the current, or the Dark Vision that just passed, and then the next one upcoming is a Machine. That's how I do my calculations. Now, I will be fair and say Kier has no killers at all to Machine or Insect. So this is not a friendly race combination to him. So he's going to look lower than he would be versus other races or versus a single race boss. But just all the units on the sheet are using the same build rules. So is Kier. So let's scroll down the list and look for Kier in Dark Visions. Here we go. Way down the list down here, we've got Kier, who's actually even worse than Cloud. Worse than Cloud. Not to mention, Cloud's getting a lot better very soon when we get the Rebellion tag. By the way, as far as tags go, or categories, Kier has none. Kier has none of the special categories going forward. He's got the very generic Fire and Clash of Wills. That is it. Clash of Wills is a tag, of course, or a category, of course, but for those of you that follow the game, the meta, etc., that going forward we're getting into a bunch of special tags like Rebellion, Gathering, Bonds, Evocation, Royalty. all that kind of stuff. Kier is going to be left out of all that because he doesn't have any of those categories, and unfortunate. If he had had like the rebellion category, at the very least he could have gone on to the lightning party we know we're going to be getting very soon. But yeah, now as far as damage goes, here we go. So he's at an early build, the wait for the builder for me to get an exact build to really eyeball it, but with an early build, he's at approximately 500 billion burst, whereas the top non-meteor units are like, Richt, Ace, 2B, etc. are at like 730, 639. And just for, a quick glimpse into the future, here is after Lightning comes out, and then her special leader skill applies to other units, the Rebellion leader skill. So all these units in orange are rebels. They fall under Lightning's leader skill. So like Lightning, Yuffie, Tifa, Cloudstrife, Tyvis, Glaciella, Van Harma, Renoa, the updated crowned remake Cloud, etc. And we're getting stuff like, Lightning's going to be somewhere around, based on the JP, if she doesn't get buffs or nerfs, she's going to be at about 900 billion burst. And then we've got stuff like Arcane Scholar Skier down here at 500, almost half of that. And again, he doesn't have the special categories. Like, why didn't they give him the Rebellion category? That would have been a small baby step into making him better. But yeah, so that's his whole kit. Like, his kit is just a bunch of nothingness you're never ever going to use, a field, and a focus. That's his kit. And he's SLB. Unlike Porin, who can hide in his base form until the kill turn, Kier can't do that. Nope, he is going to be stuck in the SLB form, and there you go. But then again, he can cure poison and cure sleep to the whole party. On demand even. Now, as far as his passives go, the usual stuff. Oh my god, another thing about him. Isn't this fun? So because they're just copy-pasting an old, outdated collaboration unit that we skipped, they even copied the flat stats. You know how much flat stats he has? The exact same as Porin from months ago. Only 500, and then at EX3 he's got 1,000. So at EX3 he's got 1,000 flat stats, and that is it. That is so low. And like I mentioned before, because of his gearing, it's such a train wreck. Like, you're probably not giving him the Clash of Wills gear, so he's not even getting bonus flat stats from Clash of Wills gear, because that's going to go on other units. And even if you did put it on him, it's going to be really hard to gear because he has these, like, can't wear helms. He's got to wear the chest piece because of his stupid TMR is garbage. Stuff like that. Yeah, so... Oh, and also, he does fill morale every single turn in Clash of Wills. Is that... Yeah, that's every single turn in Clash of Wills. So a little bit of morale. So 300 plus 600, 900 morale per turn. To be fair, 900 morale per turn is relatively good. That's a little bit less than Kresnik's Arcane Stimulation. So, sure, he is a decent passive morale filler. It's worse than Flaring Rain. Flaring Rain does 1,000, so keep that in mind. For free. Not to mention Flaring Rain can usually dual wield Wilkes card and get 700 more. So Flaring Rain is actually 1,700 per turn, where he's 900. So yeah, that's fun. The leader skill is, as we knew, kind of the same as Richt, Malphasi, etc. And that's the whole kit. I mean, there's nothing else here. That's the kit. He does a 530 LB or SLB with fire, lock to fire, 150 amp one time, a bunch of copy-pasted, flavor skills that were, these made more sense because these were from a collaboration, the Dragon Quest storyline or whatever, Porin. I personally don't know the Dragon Quest, anime or story, but I assume these skills made sense from the anime of Dragon Quest. But they just copy-pasted them all over him to Kier because why not? Why not? Let's just be lazy. And yeah, now, even though I have been a little harsh towards this unit, I will say, for his very specific niche of putting up a field and dealing fire damage on a fire team, he's probably going to be okay and usable. And also, because of the next Vision World boss, the AI, he's probably going to be a decent unit for the next Vision World. So I do want to get that out there. He probably will be useful on the next Vision World. So that if you're really, really worried about the upcoming Vision World, Final Fantasy 13, and you're not going to go for Lightning for a Rebel party, and you want to go for Kier instead, that's your decision. But that's an option. And yeah, he probably will be good on a Lightning. I'm sorry, not on a Lightning. Oh my God, no, on a Fire party. Now, as far as his damage in Clash of Wills, I didn't calculate it because he can't do damage in Clash of Wills. The next Clash of Wills is weak to Lightning, Wind, and Dark, not Fire or Ice, and that's all he really has. I mean, I realize he does have these Wind attacks that in Clash of Wills will deal 500 X modifier times 4, so that's 2,000. Comparatively to an LB, that's equivalent to about a 285 LB, which basically means you're not taking him for his wind damage in Clash of Wills. So he doesn't really have damage. So basically, he's not calculated for Clash of Wills because he can't do anything in the upcoming Clash of Wills. In a future Clash of Wills, when we can use fire or ice, at a rough estimate, he'd probably be somewhere around like Cloud or Rain or so. He'd be like mid-tier at a guess. I don't know. I didn't calculate it because he can't come anyway. The next Clash of Wills, when he does have Ice or Fire as an option, I will of course add him to the normal Clash of Wills tab because, as it says up here, units locked to the wrong element are not recalculated for the current month. That includes Arcane Collar Skier, so he's just on the bench for this month, which is just a whole train wreck of a planning by the global team. Like, why are they doing this? Like, I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm personally going to pass on this unit. He's not very impressive to me. As I said, I absolutely think people will be using him in Dark Visions. He won't be a top damage dealer, but he will be a useful unit for his field. Now, keep in mind, if the main thing drawing you to him is the field, let's take a quick peek at some upcoming units that have imperil fields. So here's my utility tab on my spreadsheet where I keep all kind of utility information like auto buff gear, etc. But let's go to the imperil fields. So imperil fields for fire. So the ones in orange we don't have on global yet. The ones that are in yellow we already have on global. So fire and peril fields are right here. So upcoming. So we've already got a bunch of them. We've already got Tsukiko at 30%, Ingus at 35%, Nora at 35%, Tybus and Yish at 35%, and then Kier is also at 35%. Upcoming, we've got King Galoof at 40%. We might or might not get Avon. He's a collaboration unit, but Avon at 40%. Again, Papoy at 40%. That's a Secret of Mana unit. We may or may not get him or her, whatever it is. And then Vanille at 40%, which we probably will get. And Vanille is... I've talked about Vanille plenty of times. She's a really good breaker, debuffer with a lot of fields. Like, she's got a lot of fields. And Vanille's fields are all at the same time. Whereas Stupid Kier, you can only choose one of his 2 fields. You get all 4 Vanille's fields at the same time. And you can mix and match elements for like a rebel party. Not to mention Vanille is a rebel. There you go. And then Galoof. Galoof is a good breaker as well. I think he has the bonds category, etc. He has the royalty category for the distant future. Yeah. And as far as ice goes, ice fields. Again, why are you even using ice? But just for completion's sake. In the future, we're getting Prompto at 30%. We've already got Saul and Tybus and Yish at 30 and 35. Kier's at 35, and then in the future, Summoner Iridia, the one we already have, gets a 40% Ice and Peril field with her crowns. We may or may not skip them, we don't know. Again, Avon is one of those multi-element fields, and so are Papoy. And these are all, multi-element fields. But yeah, so Ice doesn't have a whole lot going on because Ice is just a dead element, so who cares about Ice? But yeah, there you go. So there's an early look about Arcane Scholar Kier. I was hoping for so much more than this. I'm not impressed. His damage seems a little underwhelming behind the meta. His only support to justify lower damage is a field, which is a single element field of a lower percent than it should be, in my opinion. I was just hoping for a lot more. So we do have a live stream this upcoming weekend when they're going to, I assume, announce something more exciting than this. This feels like a big filler unit. But like I said, I'm covering my bases here. He will absolutely see some use in fire teams in Dark Visions. Now, I feel like other units will do it better, but he is going to be decent, and he's probably going to be a good unit, even a good unit, on the upcoming Vision World for the people going fire. So there it is. Anyway, if you're going for him, I wish you all the best of luck. It is early, and it is also early into maintenance, so maybe he's going to be re-updated mid-maintenance. They actually do that every now and then. So maybe by the time servers go live tomorrow, he will have had some updates and improvements, and we can feel better about him. Kind of doubtful, but it might happen. We'll see. Anyway, see you in a bit.